Hello, everyone. This is Z with Unlocking Greatness Podcast. Some of you are aware that my son just recently passed away, and I can't begin to express how hard that's been on my family. I just want to thank you all for the love and the prayers. I've received so many messages from you all, and I'm just very grateful. I'm going to use this time to go off the grid for a little bit and to spend some time with God. So I'm going to be playing some pre-recorded videos. There are a couple videos I did in the beginning of my podcast that I never released to the public, and I think the timing is perfect at this point. This video that you're about to watch now is about going off the grid. I think the title and the topic is just, it relates so much to what I'm doing right now, which is spending this alone time with God. Just to grieve and to turn everything over to Him and to continue to trust in Him. I'm not going to talk long. I just want to, I wasn't even planning on recording, to be honest, but I just want to say I love you guys and thank you for the prayers as my family grieves and gets through this time. And again, this is a pre-recorded video you're about to watch right now, and I sincerely pray that it encourages your heart. I love you all, and I thank you in advance for praying for me and my family. Bye-bye. Hello, everyone. This is Z again. Glad to have you back. I'm not sure if you're watching it from the video or if you're listening to the podcast, but in the previous episode, we talked a little bit about Joseph and just where that left off in terms of Joseph sharing his dreams with his brothers and with others, and really getting them very jealous and envious, and they end up selling him into slavery, and we all know how that story went. I got to thinking about what is the next thing I want to talk about. And to be honest, I did some prayer on it. And I was just saying, okay, God, what is it? You know, what was the logical next step for me when I was able to finally look at all of those people who caused me so much pain and be able to see the grand picture and to be able to thank them for the pain that they caused me. And I thought after that, and I've had many of those episodes, by the way, so it wasn't just one. I thought, the next thing really that I saw in my path was I had to go off the grid. And that's what I want to talk about today. I think that there are times in life where we just need to go off the grid. We need to separate ourselves from others. And I understand that we can't always do that in the physical, but I'm just talking in the mental or in the spiritual. Just to distance ourselves from any and every distraction in life. You know, for me, I'll just talk about me because, again, I'm going to keep saying this over and over, probably in most of my episodes. I am in no way a professional counselor. I'm not a minister, any of those things. I'm just a lady that's been through a lot, and by the grace of God, I'm wanting to share with you all the journey that I've been through and the journeys that I'm still on, to be quite honest. So, for me, going off the grid means a couple things. One, I'll say this. You really have to be careful who you choose to share your dreams with, especially when it's in that infancy stage, when you're not quite sure if this is really what God wants you to do, or, you know, I think this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And, you know, I'm thinking about writing this book. I'm thinking about starting this company. I'm thinking about I don't know, leaving this job, or I'm thinking about, you know, what have you, whatever it is that you want to do. In many cases, and I remember in the past, this has happened to me quite a bit, I'd be sort of excited about it, kind of like how Joseph was in the Bible, you know, that story we talked about. And I would talk to friends and in some cases, so-called friends, and just about anybody that would give an ear to listen. The problem that I ran into is if the vision wasn't shared with them, how do you expect for them to be able to, one, be enthused about what you're doing or even believe that you can do it? And what is it that you expect from them if they never receive that vision or that insight or that, let's just say, that word from God or that intuition, whatever it is you want to call it? Because I know not everyone out there that's listening to this is into God or into the Bible, but I am, so it is what it is. But I remember in some cases talking to people about, hey, here's what I'm thinking of doing. Oh, my goodness, here's what God put in my heart to do. And I don't think that their intentions were bad, but I just remember, some people telling me, well, how is it possible you can do that? You really don't have the money to do that. And you got to make sure you have a staff to do that and da, 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 da. I even had one person tell me, well, I think it's kind of selfish if, you're going to branch away from this and now do this. And I thought, selfish, where'd that come from? But you can easily get talked out of what God put in your heart to do, or what is the right thing for you to do, simply because other people may not share that same vision. They may not, and I mean this with all due respect, but they may not even be on the same level as you are, just in terms of being a visionary, and in terms of going against the odds, and in terms of being in an impossible situation. But saying, you know what, I may not have the money, the resources, and I may not have all these things I need, but here's what I'm going to do. And so this is kind of my thought, is think about having an infant, having a newborn. When you first have that child, you don't pass your baby around for everyone to hold. You don't. Hopefully you don't. You don't go into a mall or go into wherever you're going to be and literally let everyone hold a child that's only a couple days old or a couple weeks old, or in some cases even a couple months old. You're very guarded and careful because that child needs to be protected. That infant, that newborn needs to be protected. And that's kind of how I think about my dreams. I really do go into almost like a safe mode, like a protective mode. So let me give you some examples. A dear friend of mine, and she doesn't mind me mentioning her name. I love her. She's very close to me. We've been friends for well over 20-something years. Her name's Monica. She said something so funny to me a couple years ago when I was starting up a different business. I was going from one transition and starting up another one. I didn't really have the resources to do it or anything, but she said to me, Z, I've been around you so long and I see how God works in your life. And when he tells you to do something, she said to me, she says, I notice you literally go off the grid. She said, I know when I'm continuously trying to get a hold of you, trying to set up something so we can meet together, go out for dinner, go do this, go do that. She goes, I literally, for 2-3 months, I can't even reach you. And she says, and now I'm to a point where I know, okay, she's off the grid. She's doing something big right now. And she knows I love her. She knows I love spending time with her. But that actually is how I operate, to be quite honest with you. Now, I'm off the grid right now, believe it or not. I started to bring my cell phone into this so you guys can see, or for those who are watching this video, many of the messages that I have from friends and people I love, don't get me wrong, but I'm very, very, very guarded when I feel I'm on a mission, or when I feel that God's given me something that I know I got to do, like starting this podcast up right now. This is not my bread and butter income by any means. For those who do know me, you know that I've been in the staffing industry for almost 30 years. And many of you are aware that one of the things that I do is I own and operate a staffing agency. So for me to go off the grid, quote unquote, and to be starting up a podcast, motivating and inspiring people, I can see a lot of people saying, you're doing what? Like, where is this going? But what they don't know is that in my quiet, solitary moments with God, he's put in me, this is what I want you to do next. People out there need to hear what I've done in your life and what I can do in their lives. People need to be encouraged and inspired. People need to be unafraid to do the things I've asked them to do, and I want you to go out there and speak to people. And what they don't know is I spent a little bit of time wrestling with God on there, like, oh my goodness, okay, I don't know anything about a podcast. It's really not what I kind of do, even though I love speaking and helping people. But I've been down this path so many times with God, where he's asked me to do things or put a dream in my heart to do something. And each time I've done what I know he's given me the talents to do, he's blessed it tremendously. So the reason why I say I'm off the grid right now is, you'd be surprised to hear this, the majority of my friends and people that I know have absolutely no idea that this is what I'm doing. I think I've shared with maybe 2 or 3 people. maybe, that, hey, I'm building out something, and not going to go into much detail about it, but I'm putting together, a format where I can speak to people and motivate people. So you might say, well, you really don't have true friends if you can't really share with them that. No. It's not about not having true friends. And that's a entirely different post I'll do on at a different time, because I love to talk about a true friend. But anyway, it's about protecting the newborn, and it's about going off the grid and spending that quiet, alone time so that you can hear from God. You can have your time, whatever you do. I don't know, some people meditate. I like to sit in my closet. For those that know me, they know that I'll go in my closet at nighttime, turn off the lights, and I can just sit forever. And I just literally just sit and say, okay, God, just speak to me. What is it that I did wrong today? What do you want me to do to help people? What next do you have for me in my life? And so that's what I do. But I think it's so important to go off the grid, because you need to get fed, if that makes any sense. And if you think about in the Bible, Jesus went off the grid all the time. So I won't go into a whole lot of that, but if you don't do anything else, read through Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Those are the first 4 books of the New Testament, which are, called the Gospels. There's so many times, oh my goodness, when people are unaware that, Jesus went off to a solitary place to pray. He often used times to get away from the crowd just so he can be with his Father. Even when he was in the desert, for 40 days and being tempted. So it's just so important. So for me, what going off the grid looks like, it's not that I totally distance myself from the world. I mean, I have 4 kids, right? And I work full time, and I have a very busy life, and not to mention one of my children has a major chronic medical condition. And for those who know me, we spend quite a bit of time at the hospital. So I can't just completely exclude everyone from my life. But here's what I will tell you. I absolutely do not engage in every event, every discussion, every text message, every email. I can't even name a television show. If you were to pay me $1 million today and say, name 5 television shows right now that are actively running, I would have to give the money back. I literally cannot name the shows. I cannot. It's not that I don't watch any television. It's just that it's very rare for me to sit down and just, watch TV for hours in and out. And I know many people do it. I have people in my family that do that all the time. But going off the grid for me means I have to just prioritize what's important for me and what's not. So I have, even last week, many friends that, want to get together even tonight for dinner, or, hey, let's hang out Saturday, let's do da-da-da. I can't even tell you how many times where I just say, hey, the next couple of weeks won't work for me, but I'd love to get together maybe sometime next month or what have you. And it's not actually that I have something, for example, planned even tonight. So you may think, well, Z, that's kind of rude. If you have nothing planned, then why wouldn't you get with your friend? Well, the answer to that is I'm in a mode of being off the grid right now. So any downtime that I get, I need that time to recalibrate. I need that time of silence. That's why it's not good to always be on your phone. And every message, every call that comes in, let it be. Right now, actually, as I'm recording this podcast, I just noticed my phone started vibrating. I'm glad I have it turned off, and I'm probably going to go put it in my purse. But let it be. It's okay. Now, if it's something that's an emergency that needs to be responded to, fine, take care of that. But for the most part, I just have to let things be. I even have 2 community groups that I lead on Facebook. One of them is a private group and one is an open group. One has about at least 55,000 members. And another one has, give or take, maybe 1,500. Closer to 2,000 members, give or take. Private group that I lead, just helping and inspiring and motivating people. Even in those 2 communities that I lead, you think I'd be really, really active in that at all times? Well, since God has put it in my heart to start this podcast and to inspire and motivate people, I went into the group and my post said something like, hey, love everyone. Hope y'all are doing well. Right now, God is working at me to do a new thing, to do something. And while I can't share any of the details right now, I will be getting back with you all when I feel that it's materialized and I'm ready to talk about it. But in the meantime, keep me in your prayers. Love you all. And that was the post I did, several weeks ago. And these are pretty, big communities, very active communities that, I've grown to really love and develop great relationships with people all over the United States, half of which, I think 3/4 of which I don't even know these people. So I bring that up as an example because, and it's not that I can't go in there and post some things here and there, but when I'm on what I think, let's just say I'd call an assignment, or I'm on a new path in life, or I'm on trying to figure out, okay, God, exactly how you want me to do this. I just try to make sure that I'm off the grid, and any little downtime that I get, that I'm in silence and I am thinking and or praying or simply just listening to, okay, God, what is it that you want me to do next? Hopefully that's making sense to you all, that it's okay for your phone to be going off and ringing, or people to be messaging you, or you to have, oh my goodness, you don't even want to know how many emails I have in my inbox. But when I do check my email, I'm very selective right now in what's going to steal my attention. Very selective. So hopefully this is encouraging you that, when you have these dreams and goals in life, maybe you don't even know what those dreams and goals are. And we're going to talk about that. I've got so many things I want to talk about regarding that. So let's just say you're just kind of beginning to get your thoughts together and even think about, okay, well, what are the things I really want to do in life? It's so important that you do not allow yourself to be heavily distracted. Give yourself permission, I'm using the word permission, to go off the grid and spend time in silence, even if it's weeks or months. And you may say, well, Z, that's easy for you to say. I have younger kids and da-da-da-da. No. You can go off the grid even if it's 15 minutes sitting in your bathroom alone. And my point is, anytime you get that little bit of free time to yourself, forget about checking, some social media stuff, right? Forget about returning calls. It's just like, just seeing how you're doing, da-da-da-da. And that's great. You get friends that send those kind of messages, but put all that stuff to the side and just sort of prioritize. Then for those of you who feel that, hey, Z, I'm already doing, kind of what I know to do, or I already have some ideas and I'm at the stage now of putting those things into order, I think it's extremely important that you remember, as I said a little bit earlier, to protect those dreams. Because you will have people that will talk you out of what you know you should be doing. And sometimes you have to go it alone. I think every big move in my life that God's ever done with me, he's always gotten me alone. Unfortunately, it came as a result of some pain, to be quite honest. In some kind of way or another, I always go through this really bad stage of things happening, and I really believe those are things to try to distract me. But every major move that's been made in my life, it's from me having that time alone. I kind of made the mistake, and maybe I shouldn't call it a mistake. Let's just say it's a lesson. But when I first started this podcast up, and this is all fresh and new, so if you're watching or listening, you're listening to the very first few episodes that we're recording. I remember after one of the first recordings, it had to be the first or the second recording, I shared with just a couple of people, just a few. Hey, here's what I'm doing. What are your thoughts? And that's something I normally wouldn't do, by the way. I normally wouldn't do that. I don't know what made me do it, but I thought, let me just share with just a few selected people, to just sort of get some input. And oh my goodness, it only took me maybe about an hour after doing that to realize why I don't do that. And I don't mean this as a slight against any of my friends that may be watching and listening to this, but oh my goodness, I received feedback from, oh, the setup looks great, to you need to change this, to, you're not wearing that right outfit, to, I can go on and on and on. I like that little tagline you put in. I don't like that thumbnail. Oh, I love that thumbnail. Oh, you need to not have that sound in the background when you're doing. Literally, the feedback was from one extreme to the other. Two, how are you going to make money doing that? Like, why are you doing a podcast? Where are you going to make money from with that? Literally, it was just all over the place. And I thought to myself, once I kind of got the feedback from a few people, I kind of smiled a little bit and I said, oh yeah, this is why I don't really seek out the input that much from others when I have a newborn, when I have something in its infancy stage. This is why. And again, it's not that there's anything wrong with getting a little bit of input. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying be arrogant where you don't need to hear from anybody. But I'm saying you have to be very guarded and very careful with who you, one, choose to share your dreams and thoughts with, and two, all of the feedback that you're going to get from people. Because at the end of the day, you've got to make the decision that you feel is going to be best for you and for the direction you're heading. So for example, you'd be surprised to know with the other business that I own, I actually own and operate 2 small companies. And the details of that are not even important because this is not about boasting and bragging about me in any way. But you'd be very surprised to know that I can count on maybe 2 or 3 fingers, the amount of people in terms of friends and associates or what have you, that I've actually even had walk into my office or my company. You'd actually be surprised to hear that. And you may say, well, Z, that's kind of harsh. What kind of friends do you have? No, it's not about that. It's just that I'm still growing. I'm still growing that dream. And I'm very, very selective with who I choose to bring into that small little inner circle. It's not because I don't trust people or what have you, but I have to protect what God has given me, and I have to walk boldly into that vision He's laid out for me. Now, yeah, sure, there may be times where, I share a little bit more openly about what I have or what I'm doing and this and that. But what I want to encourage you with is, many of the people that I've spoken with, and I speak to a lot of people because I'm always trying to inspire and motivate and help people, many other people don't even get that vision or that dream even off the ground. They don't even get it off the ground because in some way or another they got talked out of it, or this person said you should do it this way or you should do that, or I don't think it's good for you to do that, or I don't think blah, 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 blah. And so what I'm trying to do is protect you and protect that little baby infant dream that may be somewhere deep hidden inside, because you're always going to have people in your life, or at least has been my experience, let me just say, where you have some people that would naturally be very negative. You have some people that are naturally going to be what I call haters. You're just going to have them. They're supposed to be there. They're just on assignment. And if you listen to the last podcast, you'll know what I mean when I say that. They're just on assignment. And you have some people in your life that because they've not been able to do the things that they really want to do themselves, it's hard for them to see you or anyone else climbing mountains that they themselves feel that they couldn't scale, if that makes sense. So that doesn't mean that they hate you or anything. It's just that when you're going to people and you're sharing your ideas and your thoughts, you're not giving that the time it needs to be nurtured and fed. So that's what I mean about going off the grid is, how about keeping things just between you and God for a moment? How about just sitting and talking and praying with God, asking Him to give you divine wisdom and guidance, the financial resources that you need to do whatever it is He's put in your heart to do? How about letting no one know? And it can be just for a moment. It could be a couple weeks, couple months. That's up to you. But how about just going off the grid and working silently and quietly and build? Just build. I can almost tell when someone is going to be successful or not at something. And this may sound a little harsh to say, and I pray that it doesn't come across as harsh because my heart is right in it. But I know a lot of people, right? So I talk to a lot of people that have the entrepreneurial spirits, right? Always kind of starting something up and doing something. A lot of people that just kind of sit back and dream of a lot of things they want to do, but they really don't do it, but they talk about it. And then people that, don't do any of it and just kind of sit back and criticize others. But to those with those, I'd say, have that entrepreneurial bug, and I won't dare call out any names or give any specific examples because I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, but I can almost tell the ones that are going to really do something and the ones that may not materialize, because the ones that talk about it a lot in the beginning, oh, I just got such and such, and now I'm doing this, and now I'm trying to do this, and now I'm doing da da da, and they're constantly talking about it and Then 2 weeks later is something else. It's something else. Here's what I do. I just joined this program with blah, 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 and I'm getting ready to launch da, 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 and, you should join it, and you should da, 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 da. And then I say to myself, okay, a couple of weeks, it may be something else. And sure enough, a couple of weeks later is something different they're talking about. Those are the ones that seldom, at least from my experience, let me just say that, seldom kind of get something off the ground and really get it going. The ones that I've seen from my own experience, now mind you, I'm almost 50 years old now, so I've seen a lot. But the ones that sit silently and I really don't know what the heck is going on with them, maybe every couple months we catch up and have dinner. Oh my goodness, they make power moves. Power moves. And I love, love, love having those conversations where I'm like, you're doing what? I had no idea that you was starting this digital magazine, or you were starting this social media, da, 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 or you purchase this building and you're doing such and such. And then when I talked to them, they said, Z, that's because, hey, I have to, keep my head down, do what I got to do. And I knew eventually I'd be able to come up for air and be able to talk about it. So anyway, I don't want this to go too long, but I just want to encourage you and inspire you and help you to take a moment to sit back and think through, wow, there are times in life where you really have to go off the grid, and it's okay. Now, you're going to get a few people that may be upset, may feel you don't care. Oh, I thought we were friends, and why we can't hang out? We used to hang out all the time. We used to da-da-da-da. You're going to shed a few friends and lose a few people in your life as you begin to pursue and your dreams and go down a certain pathway. That's just natural. It's going to happen. Some people are meant to be in your life only for a season. And I have some of those people in my life as well. But I'd say to you, people that truly do love you, people that are truly your friends and truly care about what you do and being there for you, if they truly are in your corner, as I have a few of those people, just a few, I can maybe count on 2-3 fingers, they stick around and they know that, hey, she's on a mission right now. And I need to give her a little bit of space. But I know she got my back and she loved me and I love her. And when she's got time, I know we're going to get together. So anyway, hopefully this makes sense, to take some time to just go off the grid. Protect that newborn baby. Keep that baby really, really close to you. Spend that time with God. Spend that time in prayer. Cry, pray, do whatever you need to do. God knows I've done it many times. And seek that, what I call secret wisdom. And start making those power moves. Start doing the very things that you already know the things that you need to be doing, and keep it to yourself, just between you and God for a moment. Love you all. Thanks for listening. This is Z. Bye-bye. Hello, everyone. Thanks for listening. This is Z with Unlocking Greatness Podcast. Please don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and the notification button. Love you all. Bye-bye.